Do. Hello, I should be live now, hopefully. Yes, it says that, and I have video output, and I'm going to check on mobile really quickly. Hopefully we'll have people join. If we don't, then their loss. This is a workshop. I'm going to continue either way. They can watch this recording, and we're just going to be going over basic FTC CAD usage. Since no one's here, they can't ask questions. Is open to everyone and anyone you want to join. I'm just going to check to see if we're live, and I'll begin in a short second. Does it say we are live? It should say we are live. Why is it unlisted? Don't be unlisted. Public. Save. There we go. Public. Save. Alright, now we should be up and running. Hopefully, all nice and smooth. I'm just going to switch Ethernet ports really quickly from my desktop to this very good laptop. Yes, can confirm. Very high quality. I just gotta quickly plug this bad boy in. Then I feel we'll be ready to start. So apologies for this somewhat rushed thing. Setup. That's the Ethernet port. Yeah. There we go. Should now be on Ethernet. Alright. We should now be in Ethernet. I've posted announcements. I've mentioned it as far as I'm willing to go. So yeah, let's just get into this. So, hello, I'm Aiden. I'm the de facto CAD captain. People say don't call yourself de facto, but I mean I wasn't voted in, so I'm de facto. That's pretty much why I call myself that. Today we're going to be doing some basic FTC, how to CAD for just basic parts, teaching you a lot more of the Lego steps rather than some other, custom things. We're just going to show you how to get parts from GoBuild and install them. So first thing, you have to create a new project. Pretty simple. There's a lot of team setup and things like that. This isn't for that. This is for teaching your basic members on the team, new people. This is for not training how to use it. This is how to use it as like a captain or something like that. This is how to use it as a member. So join your team or join a project. If you're on a team, it's a lot easier. If you're on a project, you just invite them. There are different benefits to each, but I use a team as I just transfer us to a team. It's a lot easier in my opinion. So in this I actually added this. I really like it. It's a little, you can't really tell it, but it's a nice little touch. It's the Ultimate Goal logo. I just like it. So there we go. My apologies for that noise. I got a text notification from our FTC captain. All right, so let's get on with it. So in here we had new folders created, and we have two things. So one, we have our prototype folder, so all of our prototypes are in there, and our field folder. And in our field folder, we have another folder and the field. In here, we have, this is the field, and these are our parts. This is just showing some basic organization. And obviously, you double click quickly to get access. If you single click and then click like another second later, I had an issue with when I was teaching someone this. They were like, oh, sometimes double clicking doesn't work. I'm like, are you clicking fast enough? Because if you click like not quickly enough, it won't load. I got lucky there. Sometimes it won't load though if you don't click, because you have to double click to get into a file. When you click and then click again, it's a click and a double click. So it selects and then the second click does it. This probably makes no sense, but just double click to go around folders. It's pretty simple. I can go to prototypes, I can go to mine, I can go to Aristotle, double clicking, and then to go back, I could hit this home button, or I could come right here and then select where I want to go. So let's say I want to go just back to prototypes. There we go. Or then or sometimes if they all fit, you can just click right here and you can go all the way back. It's very, very nice feature in my opinion. Herndon Robotics, CAD workshop. Alright, there we go. So I was just updating some stuff. Alright, so that's your pretty basic functions of how to move around. You know, you double click, you can go back. It's pretty simple. Now, if you don't see this screen, and sometimes you won't, you click these three little dots, 3x3 dots on the top left that says show data panel. Just click on that and it'll open it up. And that's how you get to the data panel, which is what this is called. You can close it by clicking that little X and bring the dots back up. It's useful depending on the situation. Sometimes if I'm just loading a model, I don't want that there. I get more real estate this way. Sometimes I'm adding parts actively and I want the whole thing there the entire time. Let's get on to it. So I'm going to go to our prototypes folder. In here we have a few different ones. Andy made one, nice. We have a parts folder, Mason and me. So parts is basically what I like to do is, unless it's super random, I have to have all my parts organized. You know, even if it's a random part that only one person is using, I like to have my parts organized. So within this folder, there's not that much organization in here, but as you can see, there is a bit. If it load. If all this is gone, that's going to be very annoying. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, yeah, there's like a random thing in here that just somehow got in between all this. Normally, you would have like folders, you know, channels, or like build stuff like that, etc. And, you know, it's not the most organized, but it's still somewhat organized by name. Because most of the time when you get a part downloaded, you'll just get, when you download a part from a website, it'll say just their ID number and not any description of what it is. So we go and rename it. Obviously, normally we would name this U channel or put it in a U channel folder. However, for the time being, we just did this, and we have all these different channels. We have we have two different plates. Got some different gears. Some of these are Rev and some of these are Go Builda, so we'd have to watch out for those. We got some shafts, which are D-rods, I believe. For those who don't know what a D-rod is, it's a rod. You know, it's a rod that you have to go through the robot, and it's in the shape of a D. I'm assuming that's what that is. You got some more of these. As you can see, organization in here, but it still kind of works. You got an angle bracket. You got a ball bearing carriage load. So it's a lot random, but it's still somewhat organized. And I like to have a dedicated place for all of our parts. You know, it just makes it, in my opinion, so much better. What is this? It's got like an error thing. I don't know what that meant. It says we're streaming. Alright, so yeah, it says we're live, so I'm just gonna go ahead and assume we're live, but there's all these, I just like to have a parts folder for everyone to go into. I don't want a separate parts folder. I don't mind different parts, like if Mason's gonna have all his own parts. I don't mind him having his own folder that says Mason stuff. Okay, but it's just so everyone knows where stuff is. Let's say I need something from Mason's. I can just go in there and copy it over. It's just that much easier. So I'm just gonna show you what's some of our. I'll show you. I don't know if I can show you my prototype, but I can definitely show you Rush. This is something. It's called Rush because I made it very quickly. That's why it's called Rush. I was just like, I'll just call it Rush. And this is Mark 1. It's only one mark. I didn't do any fancy savings, which is another thing. We try to do iterations so we don't have 50,000 different components in one thing like that are all from different generations. But, you know, this is our general, it's kind of a general idea. You know, you got like, you got stuff like this, and this is what we're trying. I'm just going to try to show you stuff like this, just to get prototypes down. CADing can come later with bearings and stuff, but this is just to get prototypes down and things like that. Obviously, hopefully, this would have gone a lot smoother, and I could tailor to people better if I actually had people in here. But, you know, don't have people in here, so. What is that current resolution? What? Would be annoying. Video capture. That should be 1920. Yeah, that is at 1920, whatever. I don't know why it's be doing that, but whatever. So, alright, there we go. So I'm sorry about that. So I'm just going to show you how to create something very simple like Mark 1. Let's make a Mark 2 by default. So first off, you can open and close things just by doing, is Fusion lagging? Okay, so you double click something to open it, same thing as a folder, or you could right click and hit open, but you know, there's also other stuff you can do with right click, but just to open something, it's pretty simple. This is your default screen. So to get a file, to actually get a file, all you do is you hit save or save as. So save, and when we're given a name. Okay, let's name it Mark 2. Normally I like to use Greek letters, but you know, for consistency, let's just keep it like this. Actually, no, let's rename it. I can right click and hit rename, and I can make Mark 1. Come here, rename this, Mark 2. Beautiful. Okay, that's how you save a file. Very simple. Alright, now what I'm going to do is, it's just nothing here. There's nothing here. Yours window may look a bit different just because I have different settings. You can change your settings down here under display settings. Oh, we've got a person in the call. Okay, let's admit Jonas into the call. Hello, Jonas. You're on stream to no one.
Hello.
You're on stream to no one. How do you feel?
I feel like I'm talking to 30 people on the stream.
Bruh. Alright, so this is Jonas. He's a new member. Jonas has tried to mess around with Fusion, but he could not.
It's so bad. It's actually trash.
By trash, I mean, I hope you mean good. We don't call things necessarily bad in
I,
robotics. Nor would we do that on stream that we are
no, never mind.
saving.
There's so many CAD programs that are easier to use.
Anyway, let's get on with this tutorial. So, Jonas, are you watching my stream or are you watching, should I
I'm not.
All right, let me just screen share on Google Meet then. How do I do this since Google Meet? This is annoying. This is why I like
I've been coding for the
Discord.
past 3 hours.
Jonas does a lot of stuff except build because he hasn't been taught build because we haven't meet in person yet. All right, let me just screen to Jonas. So go
I
over
like
what I.
that background blur.
Thank you, very professional. All right, so all I simply have done is basically talked about how you move around files. Jonas, you know how to do all that, right?
Yeah,
All right, and
of
then
course.
you know how to save. Like you just come to the top and you hit save, and it'll save your thing, right? You know that.
Yeah,
All right, beautiful. So
that's pretty basic.
yeah, yeah. You'd think it's pretty basic, but you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna navigate to the parts file. So I'm gonna actually, we're gonna try to recreate a random prototype. Stop sending me text messages, Mason. So we go to so what we're gonna do is we know where our parts folder is. It's not in Aiden's prototype. It's just in prototype. I click here, and then I click parts. I know I'm presenting Google. All right, so we're gonna start off with this is not by any regulation or anything like that.
No.
Thanks, Alec. I really appreciate this. All right, so I'm just gonna come here and as I talked about, we have a parts folder.
Oh my God.
I'm getting this is turn off all notifications. There we go. So this is our parts folder. It's not necessarily the most organized now, but this is just for prototyping. So when we actually have a thing, we'll normally have it nice and organized, all the channels, all the electronics, etc. So let's just pick like I don't know, 216 millimeter. You right click on a part and you click insert in the current design and it'll just get copied and pasted into your design. Then you can rotate it and do as you please. Most of the time imports normally at a weird angle, so I have to rotate it, but that's pretty easy. And I'm actually gonna go over how to use the move tool really quickly. So
Wait. How did you select the object?
so the way I selected the objects, I just double clicked
Because
on it.
like I click
You double
and
click
then
on it.
I get that freaking measurement.
You double click on it.
Okay,
You
okay,
double left
thank you.
click. Are you
Oh
do
my
you have
God.
do you have Fusion open?
No. You just saved my entire career, though.
Do you want to get Fusion open so you can follow along?
Let me just save my code. Okay, I'm good.
All right, so Jonas, what you should do is you should make a folder in prototypes and name Jonas's, and then you can just follow along. So I'm just going to go over the move tool.
Alright.
So the way you select something is you double click, or you can come here in the top left of your workspace. I can't remember the proper name. I think that's something close to that. This is like your workspace. This screen right here, not here, not here, just this blank canvas where the 3D objects are rendered. And this is your browser in the workspace. So then I can select different things. So I can just come here and hit left click. And that's useful for selecting a lot of different components that may be in different spots. So just gonna have it selected. Either way is fine. Sometimes you'll get weird things when you select with this, so sometimes you have to just come here and select with that, but whatever. And then you hit M to move it. And it should also be known that when you insert a component or a piece or whatever file into a thing that you're working on, whenever you insert it, it'll basically instantly have move open. It should instantly have like the move thing open. So before, when I inserted it, it looked exactly like this. So so this is it, and it would basically have this automatically open. So to move it, you have your pretty standard free move, which basically they're a little hard to see sometimes, but you have 3 axes to rotate on. You have this one, you have this one, and then you got this one, and those are your 3 axes. So, and they all have all their degrees as well. And you're not constricted to just using the wheel. You know, let's say you have a very specific measurement. Let's say 42.074. You know, you can type that in, and it works pretty well. Now for movement, oh yeah, if you hit enter, it'll save. All right. I just done goofed. Okay, so I don't remember what I put in, so it's going to be a little off. I hope that doesn't hurt anyone. Okay, so to move it, you just use these arrow keys, these arrows, and you just drag them back and forth. And you'll notice that it'll say inches. So it depends what you're working with. And that is a major issue. So when 3D printing something, your slicer has to be the same settings as this, otherwise it'll load weirdly. So I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend always having it in millimeters, especially because these pieces themselves are in millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to switch your measurement. I'm going to show you 2 things. So let's just say let's say you're working in inches your entire project, but for some reason you need to move this in millimeters or whatever. So you can move this, and then you either right here or in the box right here, because this just brings up the box of movement or degrees that you're rotating and moving it in for the current thing. So, Jonas, did that make sense? Be completely honest.
Yes, I'm
Beautiful.
now a god.
Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so just typing in either of these 2 boxes. Let's say I want 7 centimeters. I hit 7, and then I write the abbreviation for centimeters, which is cm, and it goes from the default, which is inches, into centimeters. But let's say you don't want to do that. Let's say you're working with centimeters and millimeters the entire time. You go to your browser and you click on this arrow next to document settings. Then you see this text that says unit inches, and then you just hover over it, and then click this icon next to it that'll should appear, and it says change active units. Then you get this little tab, and it says change active units, unit type inch, and we're going to change that to millimeter. You'll notice this set as default. Basically, whenever you create a new file, it'll set this as your default. I'm just going to keep it as just the unit type as millimeter for this, though. Now, if I move
I'm
this,
actually now a god, like, seriously.
so nice.
That's all I needed.
Nicia would like to join. All right, let me add person. Hello, Nicia. You are being streamed to like no one, but that's fine. This is just so people can look back on this. Why did Alec do that? Is that the same link? Did Alec do the same link? He did. I asked Alec to get me the same link that he did earlier, and he didn't. And I was like, bruh. Hello, Nicia. So we just went over movement. So just as a quick recap, just for movement, you double click on an object to move it. Then you hit M you double click, on an object to select it and then hit M. Or if you come here in the browser, you can select a file or like a part that you imported, and then you hit M, and you can move it from there as well. And the way you move it is you have these three little rotational axes. You can rotate in all three directions. You know, pretty useful. So I can get like kind of wacky angles. There we go. It's pretty wacky. And then I can use these three arrows in the same three axes to do movement as well. So you know you have like these kind of semicircles to move it, and then you have the arrows to actually, or semicircles to rotate and arrows to move. So to insert a piece, once again, you just right click and then you hit insert in the current design. So it inserts, and if Fusion wasn't lagging, there we go. It's automatically brought up the move tool, and we're just going to rotate it to be flat at 90 degrees. And we know it's flat because we can see this cube, which has all the top. It has top, front, and right view. So we can, we know, oh, this is the top view. Yep, it's flat. So is there a link to log in somewhere to CAD? Did you follow the account creation thing in the presentation for resources? No. Okay. So, yeah, this is going to be, yeah, you need an account. So I suggest you come back to this. You watch the video later, or like you catch up with us at the end. But yeah, you need an account. Yeah, there should be a thing there. It's going to ask to provide student ID. Just go to like your sys and go to your gradebook and copy and paste or take a screenshot of that, because your gradebook includes your name, your school, and your something showing something within like the last 6 months that shows you're going to the school, just to get the education edition, which is what you need. So anyway, so we have this rotated, and we're gonna hit OK. Then we're gonna insert another piece, because we're making the frame of a robot. Obviously, there would be screws and plates connecting all this, but for prototyping, we don't really need that. Or prototyping just to get ideas across. It's a little late for prototyping on our team, but this is still useful for prototyping different components, before we can technically build them. So we're going to get this in here. It's like, oh no, I can't, if I get this view, oh no, I can't like match it up by moving it. And I'm not going to guess. I probably could, but I'm not going to guess like the amount to move it, because there's a way to accurately make sure it's perfectly together. All you do is you come up here, and we're going to talk about the different move types. So we are on free move, which lets us rotate and move it back and forth with the three arrows. And then we have translate, which just removes the rotational axes. So if you just want to move it back and forth, that's kind of useful in case you misclick. Just rotate, same thing, but only for rotating. Point to point, and then point to position. So point to position basically means is point to point, but it'll instantly bring up the free move. Point to point just moves it point to point. And what I mean by that is you can select any point, plane, or face, or line. Remember, there are three things you can select. You can select a line, a point, or a plane. So point to point works with all three of those, but point to point just makes it sound easier to use. So I can come here and I can select this point, and then I can select this point, and then I'll move it exactly touching it, which is a very nice feature, because that means I can, if let's say I'm working on it, it's imported all the way over here. As long as I know it's moved in the right direction, it's facing the same direction I want it to, I can just select this point, and then come here and select this point, and there we go. There are a few things, create and copy, and there was also another one, but I don't really use capture position. I really don't know what it's necessarily needed for. But create copy basically means it'll basically clone, instead of moving that one, it'll just keep that one there and create a copy of that one over here, which can be useful at times. So you don't have to rotate it. Let's say I need 5 of these. There's also origin points and target points. And the way this works is if I select something, I hit move, and I bring up point to point, it'll automatically load the origin point. So I come here and I select the origin point, and then I select the target point. And the origin point, it makes whatever it is move. And what I mean by that is the origin point is basically what you're moving. So let's say I should have face cam on, right, guys? Jonas, can you see my face cam?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I have these two things and I want to move my phone to this TI-84 graphing calculator. Let's say, so what I do is I take my phone, Mason's texts are still there, okay. So I take my phone, I have the target point, I have the origin point on my phone, and the target point is on the calculator. So what happens is the origin point, or the origin point moves it. So the origin point's on my phone, and the target point's on the calculator. My phone's the one that moves. Does that make sense?
I love seeing the blur.
It's fine. Does that make sense?
Well,
Jonas,
yeah, yeah, of course, I did Blender.
you did play, yeah, but I mean, also, does that just generally make sense? Like, if you didn't do Blender.
Um, I guess, yeah.
All right,
I
that's
mean,
beautiful. Whatever.
I
Okay.
guess I would know that from doing geometry.
Nice. So this is also useful. You can select like planes, but and other stuff. But you can also move things very inaccurately, and I do not recommend this by just taking a thing by just hovering your mouse over like a body or like these are called components. Yeah, over a component that you imported or over any component, and you can just drag it.
And
But
moving it. I love.
yeah, this is very bad because not only it's like, oh yeah, that's lined up when it really isn't, and when you're dealing with screws, that can become a major issue. It's like, yeah, that's lined up pretty good, very lined up, very great. Can confirm.
Yes.
So but also this is sometimes an accidental click. Sometimes you're working. Let's say I'm working, and then I move my mouse and oopsie, I shift it. Or sometimes you just it's like a piece that's super far away, and you're working over here, and then you just accidentally shift this by a little bit, and now it's ruined that perfect geometry. So we're gonna next talk about creating joints, and all you really need to know for FTC. You can make custom stuff, but that's not what we're going to go over, especially considering it's 5:30 already. But we just want to, I double clicked to select point, I double clicked and I hit M to move. And then sometimes it does this, it won't automatically have the point, and I got to select origin point, this thing right here. I just click on this and that'll make me do it. The blue thing is what's selected. And I select that point, and then I can come here and I select that point. There we go. But now I'm going to do what's called making a joint. And the way I make a joint is I select two pieces, and we're gonna there are many different types of joints, but I'm just gonna do what's called a rigid group, and I always just hit capture position, and then you always want to hit include child components, because what that means is, let's say you imported a massive piece that has all these other features on it. Let's say you imported like I don't know, let's say you imported like a wheels chassis. You want it to include all the components of the wheels chassis, not just like the body. You want to include all the other components on there. Just always have child components selected or checked marked in. So now that we have a rigid group, and it also created a new folder right here called joints, now instead when I click and drag, it keeps them together. So let's say I have the whole robot jointed and I accidentally move it. Instead of moving the part, it'll move the entire robot, which is pretty good because then, it moves the robot and everything is still together. It only just moved its physical position, which is pretty nice. And the other way you can do this is, let's go back before this was jointed. So now, these are separate. I just hit Control Z to undo. Or you can come up here in the top left or right to, redo or undo. And actually undo, it'll undo move / copy, undo, redo, drag components. But we're going to come here, we're going to hit under solid, we're going to come here and we're going to hit, where is it? Joint. It looks like this little thing under assemble. So we're going to hit joint. I know I'm doing that. Some components have moved. We're going to hit capture position. And as you can see, you have a lot. They changed this. Oop, that caused lag. They changed this feature. It used to be somewhat different. But now just the GUI is a bit different. So we have position and motion. So position will basically be where is it physically going to go, and motion will determine what it will do. So first, you can select simple, which basically means select line. It's the normal move tool. You have select between two faces. I really don't mess around with that, and I don't really mess around with two edge intersection either. I just normally keep it at simple because, as it says, it's simple to use. So let's say we want to have this hole right here on top of this hole. So what we do is we come in, and with the joint tool, I can select this, and then I can come here and select that circle. Notice how I selected capture position. I selected this circle right here, because this is the top circle line, and I just select this. Now, as you can see, it moves it, but that's not what we want. As you can see, that's in the way. What we can do is there's a nice little button that says flip. And what basically that does, it says like, okay, if you didn't want it this way, there's only one other way it can be, which is that way. And now we have it on top. And you'll actually see there are a few things that it can do. So there was that little motion thing right there, but that's not there anymore. And you can actually change how it goes in when this is pretty useful. That's Q, not 10. But, there's different motion types. And we don't really do these all the time. We should, but we really don't. There's a rigid, which I can actually animate it. As you can see, it'll shake it a lot, shaking it a lot. And it's, rigid. It shows, these things are rigid together. There's revolute, which, as it demonstrates, rotates. And you can actually change the axis. So it's pretty cool. You can also make custom ones, but we're not getting into that. So let's say I want the y-axis. No. Yeah, we want the z-axis. So normally this would be pretty useful for wheels. As you can see, that's obviously not a wheel, but that'd be pretty useful for wheels. We have a slider, and that's basically we want y. This is if things were sliding. As you can see, it just slides back and forth, which could be useful. Cylindrical, which is a cylinder. I don't touch this. I don't mess with this. I have no clue what it does. Pin slot, these are just like a lot of different things. Planar basically means it's on a flat plane, as you basically had two pieces of paper rubbing up against one another. And then you got ball, and that's just a ball, and it's just kind of weird. Here, if it animated again, it looks kind of like a dance party. But yeah, so we normally keep it on rigid. We may do revolute for some things like circle for wheels, which would actually be pretty useful. However, we don't make animations with this or anything like that, which is the one thing we would use revolute for. So we just keep it normally to rigid. And, there we go. Now we have a rigid joint. It's the same thing as the rigid group. And honestly, that's why we normally don't do joints anymore, is because it's easier to just select these two things in the browser and then right click and then hit rigid group, capture position, okay, rather than having to go to joints. Because this way we could just move it, to move, not point to point. We could just move it. It's easier. Obviously, these are jointed now, but, this is just easier, if that makes sense. It's just easier. So we normally don't mess with rigid groups with joints anymore. We mainly just use rigid groups. Jonas, if that makes sense, how to use joints.
We don't use it at all, yes.
Yeah, we use rigid groups. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Imagine like basically a rigid group. Basically, once you have your components moved and in place, a rigid group basically throws an invisible layer of glue for the selected components so they can't move out of their original position. Or like they're all basically
It's like
kept
welding.
together. Yeah, basically. So like it's like invisible welds. So let's say I do this and this. These are now together.
Like in Gmod.
Oh my god. So, we have these two things. They're now stuck together. All right, anyway, so now I'm going to show you just how to make a quick little robot chassis. Obviously you'll probably be doing different things, but we're going to show you just how to make a quick robot chassis. So we have a rigid group, and we're just going to copy all these things by selecting it and then using Control to select. So the way you can select things, if you don't know, there's Shift and Control. This is the same thing on Windows. You can select things, but it'll change what you select. You can hit Control to select individual things, so I could select this in the rigid group. Or it only works within these different things, so I can't select this how I would. Let me just hold up. Let me insert. I'm just going to use this piece just to show you how Shift works, because you need more than one. So I have this just to select individual pieces. Then I can have Control to select individual pieces, but keep my other ones. And then Shift basically makes a selection list. So I select one piece, then while holding shift, I left click, and it will basically say, okay, select all these pieces between this one and this one. And that's pretty useful. So if I have like 8 different wheels imported, like for some type of roller, that's pretty useful. But what we can do is we can basically come here and then click while holding shift, obviously. So just click while holding control, select this and then the rigid group. And then we can hit Control C, Control V, and this will just copy these pieces over. So we don't have to import 2 more pieces, which is pretty useful. I hope that makes sense. It didn't copy the rigid group, but that's okay because all we have to do is click, and right click and make rigid group. In fact, we don't even need a rigid group necessarily. We could make a rigid group at the end. So, but I'm just going to make one for this one too. So now we have 2 independent rigid groups, do whatever. And now we're going to make 2 more, Control C, Control V, capture position, and paste. And then we're just going to rotate it like this, 90 degrees. And then we're going to move point to point. We're going to move this line right here. If I can select this line without it lagging. And we're going to select the target point, which is right here. And now it moved that line, it took the center of that line, which is what we selected, to this point. And now we have that nice little connection right there. So let's pretend let's pretend we have brackets and stuff screwed there. Then we're going to take these 2. Well, actually, they're a rigid. So because this is a rigid group, we actually only need to select one of them. So I can just select one and hit move. And then I can take this point right here as the origin point, and then select this as my final line, and there we go. And actually, I can now just delete these and those 2 joints, and then while holding shift, there we go. Oh, I'm glad Autodesk worked out. Yeah, sometimes it takes a second. I really wish there was like a message notification. That's annoying. Kind of wish it let me know so I don't have to constantly check that. All right, so now I can just right click and hit rigid group, capture position, and then okay. And now these are all one rigid group. Did that make sense, Jonas?
Yes.
Beautiful, absolutely magnificent. Okay, and then now we're gonna insert wheels. And we're gonna use Mecanum wheels. We use Mecanum wheels because they're Mecanum wheels. Not gonna explain what they are.
It's definitely over 18 inches though.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's just to show you how to do stuff. So you right click, and there we go. We have a Mecanum wheel, and now we're going to use point to point. We normally don't use just direct movement unless I know exactly what I'm doing. Like I may.
Hey, wait.
Hmm?
How's yours black?
I colored it. I can, if we have time at the end, I can show you how to color it.
Yeah, but like you just imported it. Oh, never mind.
All right, so
I see that.
so what we do,
Or-
we have to have this on the same plane we want it to move to. So we want it to move to one of these dots, but we have to have it on the same plane. So you notice how I rotated it, and then I moved it up a bit just to make sure it matched up, and it does. So now we're gonna move. Obviously, this isn't gonna necessarily work that well because it has these hubs here, and it's also there's no bearing or anything. But this is just to once again get a general idea. That's like the major point. We normally end up having all this other stuff. So
Aiden,
yes,
for the slideshow for the Fusion 360 CAD Basics, it says send you my email, so I'm just gonna put it in the chat.
all right, yeah, I can add you to that. No worries. That's how you add someone to a team, by the way. And I can actually, no, actually, I won't show that because I don't want to expose emails. That would be very bad. So I was like,
Yeah,
let me do a tutorial, and then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so we come here and we're like, okay, what can we do? We select a point. It's basically the same thing, point to point. So select this, hit M to move, and then go point to point, origin point, this ring, and then target point, this ring, and it will basically take the center of those 2 rings and touch them. And obviously that's going through, normally we have a bearing and all this other stuff in there, but that's not the point. And then we hit OK. And now we have a wheel inserted. And that took a lot of time because I was talking through it. I'm gonna add all 4 wheels, and then I'm just gonna add Nicaea to the thing. So it should go really quickly. Copy and paste, move this over, move this back a bit, then just zoom in, select this ring, then select this ring, hit OK. Come here, insert this one, rotate that to be the right angle. If this was not laggy, 90 degrees, all we need. Come down here, select this point right there, select this point right there. Absolutely magnificent. Okay, come here, Control-C, Control-V, move. I'm Control-C and Control-Ving because then I don't have to rotate it, by the way. And also, it is generally faster. Point to point, here, and then here. And now, just a quick thing, what I could do is actually, I can name this just the chassis, I don't know how to spell, and then I can select all these, right click and hit rigid group and name this yes, and then hit include child components, hit OK, and then rename this chassis with wheels. And for those who don't know, the way I'm doing this is I'm just coming here, double clicking where the name is. Well, I can't change these names because they're linked and we're not getting into that. All you have to know is if you're having issues, just select right click and hit break link. But all you have to do for this is just say, okay, double click and then click where the name, select, then double click and it'll let you edit the name. So I can name this Chassis Jonas. There we go. Now these are all in a rigid group, and as you can see, we added wheels, and now it's very laggy to move around because that's Fusion. This is where the nice water-cooled computer fit in. He just agreed. Doesn't even use Fusion. All right, is this Google? That's the Google Meet thing. Let me hide that. All right, I'm just gonna load this. For those who don't know, you just come here and you click this open in the web to get access to the team in the web. But that's complicated because it's not necessarily complicated, it's just not easy. Who would like to join? I have been alerted someone would like to join my call. Mason would like to join. I can admit Mason entry. Mason, you've been admitted entry. How do you feel? And he doesn't speak. Magnificent. Alex about to exit the car.
Sorry, Aiden. What am I supposed to use to like confirm that I'm part of the school? Like the ID or transcript?
Yeah, so in SIS, it should ask for like 3 things. It says you should need a document, and it should ask for like a few things, and those few things you want are it says like your name, something that proves you've been in here like in the last 10.
Yeah, like what?
Just go to SIS and then take a.
I think it's in student info.
No, because you need something from like the last like week. Just go to SIS, then go to your grade book and take a screenshot of your grade book because that includes your name, the high school. Yeah, it works. It just works.
I don't think you should screenshot your grades.
Just send it to the Fusion.
Just make sure the first one's an A, and you're fine.
Yeah, or you could crop it out, but I mean, no one else sees that. That's just for them to make sure you're not hacking. All right, let me add you to the team, members and roles. Actually, wait, yeah, let me know when it says you're.
Yeah, I haven't confirmed that I'm a student yet.
Yeah, you need to. That's a tip. You have to make sure all the people are confirmed. So that's for people in general. Don't if you make your own team, you're like, why can't people join? Well, I had this issue with Vinayak, and I was like, I don't know, Vinayak, why can't you join? And then we had all these issues, and it was like, oh, it's not an education account, and I was like, why? And then we got him set up with one after like 5 minutes. But, you always make sure it's an education account. Otherwise, you can't do all the fun things with people because it just won't let you. Because education has a lot more features than the non-ones. All right.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. Don't pay attention to me.
So that's pretty much it. We went over, basic moving and joints, which took a lot of time. But just by being able to do that, that's pretty much it, because all you really do is, let's download a part. Let's go over how to download a part. We're going to go to gobuilda.com. Watch this video get taken down. We're going to go to motion. We're going to go to electronics. We're going to go to switch, and let's go to motor controllers. All right, we're gonna grab a RoboClaw 2X30A controller. And there we go. And there we have all these things. And for whatever website you go to, you just have to go down. You should just scroll down, and you should be able to find the CAD file. If you can't, then they're annoying. Linus Tech Tips. Okay. Downloads. Do they not have one? You can't be serious. They don't have one for this because they don't think you would use it. That's amazing. Okay. Let's just go to like motion. Let's go to something simple. Okay. We're gonna go to. Let's go to hinges. Mason likes hinges. We're gonna grab this 2902 series hinge. And then we're gonna. Is this in right? That should be in right. Whoa. Oh wait, I think OBS may. Wait, does OBS have the whole screen? I don't think OBS had the whole screen getting captured. It was like zoomed in a lot. That's very annoying. OBS, why would you do that? Because I think everyone missed out like on a bunch of content that they couldn't see. Thanks, OBS.
Hey, I'm trying to rotate.
Actually, wait.
I don't know how to rotate like from the the middle.
Here, why don't you let me see. Screen share on the Google Meet and let's see.
All right, you're gonna see my freaking my preferences.
I'm also streaming this, by the way, so I can like show people.
Okay.
5:50. We have 10 minutes, Jonas. You better hurry up.
I'm just trying to get like 4 wheels down real quick.
Presentation, Jonas Kreider. I don't.
Center. Or do you not see this?
I don't see anything. It just says presentation, really? Jonas Kreider.
Wait, no, unpin that.
I don't see anything.
Oh my god. Hold on.
Alright, nice to see you. Let me know when. Oh, here we go. Nice to see you. Let me know when you have it confirmed your education account. Still nothing, buddy.
You seriously?
Seriously.
You don't see my Roblox account?
No, we don't see anything.
No way. Hold on. I don't. Wait, what the hell?
Now go back to Fusion.
Did you screen share your screen, not like a specific application?
I was.
Oh Lord.
Here, let me see if I can do this.
I'm quite parched.
It's gonna be really bugged, but
they said it's
like you see that I'm sharing on my screen, right? It says
actually,
I'm presenting it to Aiden.
It says presentation Mason, and it's a black screen. I don't see anything else. Oh, now I see it. Now I see it. Now I see it. Now I see it.
Yeah. And then if I go to Discord.
Thank you,
or something, you see that?
Yeah, I see Discord. Yeah. I see you're in the Wizard 101 chat.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, try Jonas, do it now.
So you just gotta give it a minute.
1, 2. Actually, no, Alexa, set timer for 1 minute. Alexa, set timer for 1 minute. All right, while we're here, why don't we plug the Instagram? Go follow us on our Instagram, Herndon Robotics, and also like and subscribe if you haven't already to boost my non-existent ego. How many viewers have we had? We've had no viewers. I don't think. Analytics. We've had 1 concurrent viewer and 5 playbacks. And I think that 1 viewer may be me when I load it on my phone. I don't know, we have to wait a minute like Mason said. I set a timer. Alex sent me 3 DMs on Slack. Alexa, how much time is left? I'm legitimately gonna wait a minute.
So I think right now I'm just waiting for the for them to verify it. So I'll DM you on Slack.
Okay, yeah, no worries. You should just get a notification, right? Alexa, stop timer. It may be because it's a week. It may be because it's a weekend. Like I normally it goes by pretty quickly, but it's maybe because it's a Saturday and people don't work on Saturdays, so the computers may be off. Oh, Alec likes to join. Hi, Alec. Welcome to our very great quality presentation. Let me go back to. Wait, Jonas. It says you're presenting, but it's just a black screen.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Wait, it doesn't say Jonas Kreider's presentation anymore, whatever. All right, I'm presenting my screen.
I just got access to the education account.
All right, beautiful. Let me add you to that then. Hi, Alec. Are you not going to unmute Alec? For those who don't know, Alec is our Alec is our FRC captain.
No. I'm the FRC captain.
I corrected myself. Okay, buddy.
Wait. So you introduce him, but you don't introduce me?
No,
I'm
everyone
right now.
Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows who you are, Mason.
Everyone knows who I am too. Shut up, Aiden.
Yeah, and I don't think that's it. I don't think that's a good thing, Alec. Members and roles. Where's the add people? Why is there no add people but invite? Why is it at the top left? Okay, for people who don't know,
They're trying to invite me. I'm already in.
No, not you. I'm adding Nicaea. It should say invitate. Yeah, it said it's sent successfully. So go to your email or go to Fusion 360, and it should let you. There should be a way to join if you follow the thing still on the presentation. For the while she does that, I'm just gonna plug Alec's website. We're gonna look at a guy.click. Very great website. If you go to the shop, he took rid of his coding class.
I did.
We got 3 things you can buy. You got the mobile phone stand for $6, the USB stick holder for $8, or the 3D print anything, which is 1 meter of filament for 89 cents. And doing some simple math show there's about 330 meters in a single thing. There's no hold up times.
At least I don't charge as much as Microsoft or 3DP.
He's charging $293 per roll of filament, which each roll of filament
Microsoft charges
is like
near
$20.
$1,000. So you know what?
You know what? But Microsoft is high quality, and you're in Alex's basement. For those who don't know, he has like 12 flight simulators in his basement. It's very interesting. Okay, anyway, so
12.
All right. Anyway, so let's get.
I got them all, Mason. All.
All right. So back to this, Alec. You know Fusion, right? I bullied you into doing it. Yeah, he knows it. Vinayak knows it because I taught it to him. Mason knows it because Brady forced him to do it, which is, I think, how a lot of things are going to go this year. Oh, Jonas did it all on his own. I'm so proud. Okay, let's say you want to change. Let's say you want to change the color of something, but this, the color is just because I don't want to mess anything up. For a real situation, you'd probably have it. Also, I'm gonna save. I can notice how I'm in a different folder and it doesn't save in this folder. It saves in the original spot I saved it in. But let's say for some reason I wanted to save it in this parts folder. I would just hit this and then hit save as, and then I just hit save there. But anyway, so normally you would do this, let's say if a piece is too big or if you made a custom piece and it's the wrong thing. But for now, I'm just going to do this because it's funny to make things different colors. So let's just say I want these things, and what I'm doing is I'm holding shift and selecting all these different things. And we're going to make, Alec, pick a color.
Thanos purple.
This is why I don't have Alec do stuff. Okay, so all I do is I select these and I hit A, and it's working because it's lagging. We can select, we were given this appearance library, and appearances aren't needed, but it's so much better because all the FTC robot was this gray, and it's not bad, but I mean, it's a metal. It's supposed to look like metal, and it takes 2 seconds to do. It only takes longer here because this is a bunch of 3D geometries. But, yep, we hit not control A, just A. And we would make this, we can select all these different things. If you go to plastic, you have, that's paint. You have plastic, you have, ABS. You can go to transparent and get acrylic. Let's make this an amber acrylic. There you go. That looks amazing, Alec, does it not?
Yes, sure, it does.
And we get some clear acrylic. No, not all of them. Whatever. A clear acrylic wheels. Why not? And then all you do is you save it. Not save as, just save it. You can click that icon. And now, as you can see, it'll say it wants to update. One component is out of date. You just click on this, and this will automatically update anything out of date. And now you can see we have the new color. Now, like I said, you can do that for color, but it's also pretty useful for stuff like, oh snap, we need to, some reason, have this extruded. I'm not going to go over extruding. There we go. We need this for some reason. All I do, oh, first you have to save it, because you have to save it for it to work, but save it, and then you click this, and you're like, okay, time to do the thing. Now you have these
I'm
things.
gonna BRB.
He's going to BRB when we're leaving in 1 minute. Okay.
That's okay. Fine.
All right, so we're going to Control Z to undo that because we don't want that, and we're going to save this, and then we're going to overwrite this again, just because we don't want like this. That genuinely makes it very inaccurate. But we're going to save this to finish it up, and that's just quickly to go over everything that we did today. We to save a file, all you do is you go to, and no, I don't want notification. You go into the folder you want it to be saved in, and then you hit save, and then it'll ask you to name it, and that's how you save a file. Or you could do file save as. Well, you can't save as, you have to save it first, but you could do it for like a pre-existingly saved file you can save as. To import a piece, you just go to your parts folder or whatever, you right click on one and you hit insert in the current design. To move a piece, you just double click on it, or in here you click on it and you hit M, and you're greeted with a list of what you can do. Like I said, move back and forth, rotate different axes. Point to point is moving it from one point to another, one plane to a point, etc. And then jointing we don't really do, but we do rigid groups, which once again, a rigid group is just something that basically says, glue all these exactly where they are. That was a very good recap. Oh my God. Excuse me for 1 second. I don't understand, like, it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. It's like, can you not? Thank you. So that's pretty much it. We went over jointing, all that other basic stuff. We went over, oh yeah, changing your units right here. Inches, now our units are set to inches, just coming document settings, and then clicking that unit icon. And, oh, measurement, forgot to do measurement. Let's say you need to take a measurement of something. It'll go by your default unit, which is, that. All you do is, once again, point to plane, etc. If I do point to point, you'll see it says it's 20.78 inches, and that's because it's 3.00 point, it goes to the thousandths place for precision, or 3 sig figs, some chemistry terms in there. I set this even more, it's going to be even more. You can even set it to all, which will just be repeating. But what we want is we can just select a secondary unit. Let's say we're just measuring something, set that to millimeters, and then turn this down a bit, and it says 520.800 millimeters. And that's a very useful feature, because now I'm like, okay, I don't have to know anything else. All I have to do is hit secondary units, and you can measure stuff. And that's pretty much it for today. It's 6:02. My laptop's at 19%, despite it was at 100 at the beginning. Thank you those for coming. Thanks those for watching, which was no one. Yeah, besides that, you guys have a good day. Ciao.